that for a long time since I've been back here in Arkansas, I have feared for my son's life.
Hello, my name is Sen Black at TBTV. If you're new to this channel, I want you to subscribe now and become a member of my Sen Black Wolf Pack. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. Now, guys, have you seen the footage of Stephanie Flowers, state senator here, getting in an argument with a committee chair in Arkansas about the stand your ground gun measure? What I did is I said, hey, let's dig a little bit deeper and see what the full context of the conversation was. So I put together like a 25-minute, 30-minute clip that I think you should watch in its entirety. When you watch this clip, I think you're going to be motivated to do one of two things. You're either going to want to run for state senate or some type of local capacity in politics, or you're going to want to be more involved in local politics, because you're going to realize, like I did, how important being involved in local politics is. See, we get so caught up in what's going on with Donald Trump, what's going on with Nancy Pelosi, that we forget about what's happening locally for us is really what's going to impact our lives to an even larger extent. This matters. So please, watch this clip in its entirety. Leave me a comment below. I love you. Here goes the clip.
It is 3-4, so the motion fails. So we will call Kate Fletcher from Moms Demand Action.
My name is Kate Fletcher. I'm a wife, a mother, an attorney, a gun owner, and a volunteer with the Arkansas chapter of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. We are a grassroots movement of everyday Americans who simply support common sense public safety measures that have been proven to reduce gun violence in our communities. I'm here today to urge this committee to oppose Senate Bill 484, more commonly known as Stand Your Ground. Supporters of this bill will tell you that it is about self-defense, and that without it, law-abiding Arkansans may be in danger. This is untrue. As a gun owner and an attorney, I too believe in the right of self-defense. But I also know that Arkansas law already provides for the right to defend oneself in a dangerous situation. There is no evidence that the current law, which gives people the right to protect themselves while also recognizing that it is always best to avoid killing someone if possible, is somehow no longer working in our state. In truth, Senate Bill 484 would allow a person to use deadly force in public, possibly around children, even if such force can be safely avoided. This type of wild, wild west mentality for responding to everyday encounters would threaten the lives and safety of our citizens. As someone with religious convictions who values human life, I find this abhorrent. Supporters of this bill will also tell you that our state is an outlier and that many other states have passed this bill, and thus Arkansas should too. That's a half-truth. Only 4 states have passed Stand Your Ground laws since 2012 because as the devastating impacts of the policy were being recognized by research, lawmakers such as yourself rightly decided that public safety was far more important. In 2016, the Journal of American Medical Association published a study demonstrating that Florida's Stand Your Ground law was associated with a 24% increase in overall homicide rates and a 32% increase in firearm homicide rates. This research further backs the conclusion of its 2017 study, finding that at least 30 people nationwide are killed each month because of Stand Your Ground laws. Passing this law will, quite simply, ensure that more Arkansans needlessly die. Moreover, these laws have been shown to disproportionately impact people of color. For example, a study conducted by the Urban Institute concluded that when white shooters kill black victims, the resulting homicides are deemed justifiable 11 times more frequently than when the shooter is black and the victim is white. This difference is unmistakable, and it should be unacceptable in the state of Arkansas.
We have someone here to testify for the bill, Senator Trent Garner.
Thank you.
Please identify yourself for the record.
State Senator Trent Garner, District 27 in South Arkansas.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I served 2 tours in Afghanistan, was in many combat situations as a Special Forces Green Beret. I came back and went out with a couple of my buddies to have a good time, went to a restaurant to get something to eat and hang out. One of my buddies was a 310-pound offensive lineman who played for a local arena league team. Another of his buddies was a 250-pound linebacker, and then another Special Forces guy. We parked at a back part of a parking lot. As we walked out, I got in the car that my buddy had driven, and I heard my 310-pound friend's voice quiver. Now, this wasn't a man who was scared of many things. I stepped out of the car and saw 2 gentlemen, one who had a gun on my friend, demanding money, demanding my friend do something. You could tell the situation, the tension rose in the air. I stepped in front of my friend and pulled out $20 out of my pocket and told the guy, man, it's all good. Calm down. It's fine. The door was open in such a way that I was able to hold the money so the man reached for it. When he did, I slammed the car door on his arm, breaking it. After that, I speared him like you see in football, lifted him up on my shoulder, put him on the ground, and I heard the... I didn't know what it was. Only thing I saw after that was a gun on the ground. Me and that person went for that gun. He got to it first and took off running. I chased him, not realizing what happened, but my buddy grabbed me and pulled me back and said, Trent, you have been shot. I noticed my back was wet from the blood coming down my backside. Now, I'm going to ask you this question before I step away. When that man dropped that gun, when that was a life or death situation, if I had grabbed that gun first and used it in self-defense, could you argue I could completely got away safely? I think 12 men and women in a courtroom could have said that, but I can tell you at that moment, I wasn't thinking about the law. People don't when there's a gun on you or a knife. I wasn't thinking about what would happen afterwards. I was thinking about saving myself and my friends' lives. That's why bills like this matter. It doesn't change the behavior on the ground. It changes what happens in the courtroom after, and it gives people who protect themselves the ability to walk away and continue their lives. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Current law is still adequate. We're not aware of any cases. Senator Ballinger, hasn't pointed out any, and we're not aware of any that would necessitate a change in our law. If we were aware of changes like that, we would be right here assisting you in making changes like we helped you do in 2015. So in our opinion, the law's not broken. We don't need to change it. In summary, our current laws are adequate. Individuals are not required to retreat from life-threatening situations if a person cannot do so with complete safety. That language, that complete safety language, is what prosecutors use. That language is used to protect law-abiding citizens that use deadly force to protect themselves. It is a reasonable person standard. Senate Bill 484, we believe, does something else. It leads to some unintended consequences. We're concerned that possibly it would allow criminals to hide behind the theory of self-defense to avoid prosecution. This bill, we believe, would encourage individuals to use deadly force rather than to avoid confrontation. And in many situations, it would encourage possibly purposeful escalation rather than someone looking to avoid a confrontation. So for those reasons, we oppose this bill.
People walk away and walk away and walk away because the victims end up getting in trouble. Not too long ago, a few years ago, a relative of mine son called me. They called me and said their son, the drug dealer, had his car, and said that the car was his, and they couldn't do anything about it. Wanted to know if I'd do something. I said, sure. So I called the police, and I got the answer I thought I'd get. And I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just talking about real-life situations. I called the police, and they said, there's nothing we can do. Right?
I don't know that I agree with that, Senator.
Well, it's the answer I've always gotten. And
If you
I
have
just
a
come here
title
as a
to a
senator.
vehicle and you have title to a vehicle or a bill of sale to the vehicle, you ought to have the right to be able to get the vehicle.
Well, I come here as a senator, as the average citizen, and I won't tell you that's the experience I have always had, is there's nothing we can do. But I just played a little experiment, and I called back in 5 minutes and said, I've got a gun, and I'm going to go get the car. And they called me back in 5 minutes and said, where are you? And I said, why do you want to know? Because they weren't concerned about me being the victim until there might be some serious confrontation. And so I understand y'all's concerns, but at the same time, do you understand that people are tired of being bullied? They're tired of having to walk away. They're tired of thinking that they may have to, that they may have to spend a lot of money they don't have to defend themselves in court after they had to defend themselves in a situation that there was nothing they could do about. Do y'all understand that?
Yes, sir. May I respond, Senator?
Yeah, absolutely.
The problem is we don't have any examples where any of that's happened in the state. And I respect Senator Garner. I don't believe any prosecutor that you'll find in the state, even the most liberal or the most conservative, will say what he did was wrong. Because at the moment they pulled that gun on him, he could not leave safely. He had the right to self-defense, whether he was carrying a gun or anything else. Once that gun went off, he still could not leave safely. That comes to the reasonable person standard, which is what we have. The only time right now that you're not required to retreat, if you can retreat safely under the reasonable person standard, whichever scenario we've been presented, the reasonable person standard takes that off the table. We would have it all in front of us where we all know if we were not going through this correctly as prosecutors. The only time is you're never required to retreat when you're on your own home, which is our own castle. If there was a potential problem with this law, we would be the first one up here touting it. Senator Bond is correct. Rarely are we on the same page. But we believe common sense says you're opening a bigger can of worms. Yes, we can't show you standards. We can't show you proof. We can't show you exact figures from other states because we're not in those states. And we don't know their laws, whether they have open carry or walk around like they're on Gun West shows. Because all those factors could come into play about their homicide rates.
Further discussion from the committee?
I'll say this. I'll discuss.
Okay, I think, Senator Bond, did you? Go ahead, Senator Flowers.
I think with this bill, I think, at least for me, and because of who I am, what I look like, I would feel threatened by anybody coming around, especially you, Senator Ballinger. You are threatening to me and to my family. And I can't imagine you.
Senator Flowers.
Well, let me finish. It's not your time. But obviously, you're from a part of the state where you don't see people of color so much. And some of the things that, the behaviors that I have, the expressions that I make, the way I express myself, probably would make you feel threatened. But it wasn't intended that way. And people from different cultures particularly black people, the people that I grow up around and I live around, that live around me, they feel threatened by a person like you walking into their community, just like that man down there in Zimmerman in Florida felt about Travion. Walking in his daddy's community, but that guy had never seen him. And he's going to demand what he's doing. Well, I'm not going to take the time when you come down there to Pine Bluff to tell me that. But you can be assured that I'll have my doggone gun there. And I'll feel threatened. And I wonder whether I will be justified with a stand your ground defense. Because walking around with guns on your hip and under your coat, and you can see the imprint, is threatening. You don't know the circumstances that people have gone through. We got killings down there in Jefferson County all the time. And people feel threatened. And I don't know where you come from with all this. Is your community so bad that are you planning to come down to Jefferson County with this crap? And if you do, we're going to have a response. And we're going to invoke this stand your ground defense if this thing passes.
Senator Bond?
And I know we're ready to go, but at some point we've heard from the prosecutors, we've heard from sheriffs, state police, and what we have now is working. There's no reason to change it. Thank you.
Well, what I have is not really on the bill, but it's been brought up so many times. If you are killed and you're white, you're most likely going to be killed by a white person. And if you're killed and you're black, you're most likely going to be killed by a black person.
That's not true. Zimmerman wasn't black.
Excuse me, I have the floor.
Yeah,
And
but you're just saying stuff.
no, I'm not saying stuff. I'm sitting right here and looking at U.S. News and World Report, and it's information on.
Fake news. Fake. Fake.
Senator, you're out of order. Senator,
What?
regardless of what you've said and how you've said it, everyone has respected you when you've had the floor. And you're going to respect the rest of us when we have the floor.
Don't tell me what I'm going to do. Don't tell me what I'm going to do. Now, if you want to pull your gun out and shoot me, you go on and do that. But don't tell me what I'm going to do. I'm upset. And you ought to be able to respect that. I mean, I'm the only one that looks like me that has this color. I'm the only female in here. I have a son. I live in a county where killings are just routine. I live in a county where people from the north, where Ballinger is from, come down there, open carry, for what purpose but to threaten. I don't understand this. And if you want me to leave the room, I'll leave, but I want to vote first.
As I was saying, %90 of murders are committed by people of the same race. And I won't even go into the rest of the statistics because they'll be inflammatory. But we've been friends a long time, and I want to continue that friendship. And we all get emotional and we all get upset. But I won't be intimidated by somebody being upset, and I don't care what gender they are, and I don't care what race they are. We're going to conduct these meetings the way we're supposed to conduct these meetings. Anyone else?
If
Senator Stubblefield.
You know, I've listened to the prosecutors, the sheriffs, and everybody else, and Senator Flowers, and I understand what she's saying. But I think they would agree with me that there are a lot of other factors that contribute to people killing one another other than a stand your ground law. For years and years, we have watched our families disintegrate. We've watched single mothers raising kids at home with no father, white and black. We've watched the drug epidemic that has completely changed the landscape of our whole society. It's changed they're not even the same people they were before they started taking drugs. I know I just lost a young man up where I live because of drugs. All these murders and all these things are not the result of stand your ground laws or even law-abiding citizens who want to carry a weapon. They're not going out with the intent to kill someone. The Bible says the heart is desperately wicked above all things. Who can know it? That's the big problem right there, is the heart. And we've got to start, whether you've got a gun on or not, we've got to start caring more about one another. That would solve a lot of our problems. I'm done.
And now we know why we want to limit debate.
Yeah, well, Matt, make a comment. Matt, comment.
Quickly.
I'll be as quick as I can, as quick as it takes to kill somebody, I guess. You want me to be that quick. But, as Ms. Fletcher pointed out, and it doesn't take much to look on the local news every night and see how many black kids, black boys, black men are being killed with these stand your ground defenses that these people raise, and they get off. So I take issue with that. I'm the only person here of color, okay? I am a mother, too. And I have a son. And I care as much for my son as y'all care for y'all's. But my son doesn't walk the same path as yours does. So this debate deserves more time. I'm in Pine Bluff. We have killings regularly down there. Mr. Hunter knows, he's our prosecutor. Now, I don't know I know where you are from, Gary. And I don't know really where Mr. Ballinger is from. But I can tell you that for a long time since I've been back here in Arkansas, I have feared for my son's life. Now, he's 27, he's out of Arkansas. And I thank God he is. When you're bringing up crap like this, it offends me. And then to limit the debate too, this is crazy. You don't have to worry about your children, Will. I worry about my son. And I worry about other little black boys and girls. And people coming into my neighborhood, into my city, saying they got open carry rights, walking down in front of my doggone office in front of the courthouse. That's a bully. Do I have a right to stand my ground with some crazy ass person walking around with a doggone gun? I don't know what the hell he intends to do. But I know I am scared. I feel threatened. Just like some of y'all walking around here up in the legislature with these damn guns. That, what's his name, Garner came in here, walking around here with a damn gun under his coat. You can see the damn print.
Senator, you need to stop.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. What the hell you gonna do? Shoot me? Senator shit. What the hell? I'm telling you, this deserves more attention. You want to come up here with all these little NRA bills and bills that Alec have and all that stuff. I'm talking about my son's life. And I'm talking about the lives of other black kids. Do what the hell you you want to do. Go ahead, but you can't silence me. You got your damn silence gun out the damn chamber today, but you are not going to silence me.
Senator Flowers, if anybody hasn't tried to silence you, it's me. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion on the floor. Do pass. All for the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Motion failed. Senator Ballinger, you have failed to pass your bill.
Like a roll call.
Okay. Roll call.
Senator Stubblefield? Senator Cooper?
No.
Senator Rice? Senator Bond?
No.
Senator Ballinger?
Yes.
Senator Letting?
No.
Senator Flowers?
No.
It's 3-4. Senator Ballinger, would you like to make a motion to expunge the vote?
I'd like to move to expunge the vote by which 484 failed.
Motion to expunge the vote. Do we have a second? I have a second from Senator Rice. Any discussion? Hearing none, all for the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
I think the motion failed. Okay, you can bring it back again. Thank you.